stand for pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, have a seat, please. If you have a cell phone on you, please turn on vibrate, silent, or shut it off, please. All right, roll call.
Karlovic,
Here.
Kramer,
Here.
Reichner,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Easter.
An executive session was held on February 15, 2018 to discuss personnel and litigation matters. A second executive session was held prior to this meeting to discuss personnel and litigation matters. At this time, I would like to apologize for any misunderstanding that was created by myself in my statement to WKOK. As I finish my second month of being mayor, I am learning that my inexperienced wording can unintentionally cause serious concerns and confusion regarding city matters. When I released my statement to WKOK, I did so with the hope of clarifying topics for the public and instead managed to do the opposite. For that, I am sorry, and I want to assure the public that I am learning to work with council members and our solicitors to understand the process better so that I don't misspeak in the future. The first issue I would like to speak to my statement regarding the external investigation report completed as a result of Chief Miller's complaint made against me while I was mayor-elect. I stated to WKOK that I did not have access to the report and will not have access to the report as mayor. Please let me take a moment to explain that further. Because I am the accused and also the mayor, I recused myself from the executive session where council reviewed the report. Both Chief Miller and myself received from the city solicitor a verbal summary of the report, the recommendations, and the decision of city council to follow the recommendations set forth by the investigator. Upon the recommendations of the investigator and Special Labor Council, neither myself nor Chief Miller have or will receive a copy of the report in its entirety. Beth Kramer.
At this time, I'd like to report that the district attorney was the one, the external review of this investigation, and he recommended that there was no complaint suitable for criminal prosecution.
All right, and at this time, the city cannot comment any further on this confidential investigation and personnel matter. The second issue I would like to speak to is the captain position within the Sunbury Police Department, and specifically Captain Bennett. I misspoke when I stated that council voted in a recent executive session, when in reality it was council giving authorization to our Special Labor Council to attempt to settle two unfair labor practices claims brought by the Sunbury Police Officers Association. A public statement by the city was released last week regarding Captain Bennick, and for those who did not have that opportunity to read it, I want to share it with you now. This statement was made by Council Member Beth Kramer as Vice President of the City Council and on behalf of the city. On January 16, 2018, City Council met in an executive session to discuss the settlement and litigation options for two unfair labor practice claims brought against the city by the Sunbury Police Officers Association regarding the captain position within the Sunbury Police Department. Special Labor Council was authorized to attempt settlement of the union's claims, which would eventually result in the elimination of the captain position. Upon further review and with new facts presented conflicting with the union's unfair labor practice claims, the City Council held an additional executive session on February 15, 2018 to discuss this ongoing personnel matter. It was brought to the city's attention that a clerical error had been made causing Bennett's reduction in pay. Based upon the fact that no official action has been taken in Council's review of additional information that refutes the union's UOP claims, the settlement offer on the union's claim has been rescinded and Captain Bennick remains in his captain position with the same pay that he received previously. The city apologizes to Captain Bennick for the confusion regarding that this matter had nothing to do with his performance and everything to do with attempting to settle 2 union claims regarding the creation of the captain position. The city thanks Captain Bennick for his service to the city and will defend the creation of the captain's position against the union claims. The city will also reaffirm Captain Bennick's rank as captain at council's next public meeting. Now, since this is that meeting, I make the motion that we reaffirm Steve Bennick's previous April 2014-2017 appointment to the captain position at the same salary that he had previously received at that rank.
I'll second.
The motion is to confirm that Captain Bennick has not been demoted from the rank he was promoted into by City Council on April 24, 2017.
Reichner?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Eister? Karlovic?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yes.
Captain Bennick, are you here?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, I just want to say thank you, and I do apologize for the confusion and everything, with everything that's
I
happened.
appreciate this getting cleared up. Thank you.
Is there, oh, and I need to let you know that we did add something to the agenda for tonight, and it's for the resolution for the Opportunity Zone, which will be discussed later, and the City Solicitor Engagement Agreement, which will be discussed. Is there any audience comment on agenda items at this time?
I have a comment. It's Deborah Betts, 270 North 11th Street. I just wanted to express my disappointment last week when, 2 weeks ago when we were here, and you all went through saying no comment, no comment, no comment throughout the whole meeting, which was like 15 minutes. But I swear I saw you, Beth, and Chris literally tripping over each other to get to Francis. And then the paper had all these comments from the 4 of you councilmen. And I just have to say that it was disappointing to know that you were able to say things to the newspaper, but not to the people in this room. And that's just my statement.
All right, Councilman Ister?
Yes, unfinished business, rec board appointment would be Caleb Schaefer. The committee took it into consideration, all 3 applicants, and looked at the young man, Mr. Schaefer.
Okay. And if Caleb, is Caleb here?
Yeah.
Please stand up and introduce yourself to everybody in the room.
There you are.
Hello.
All right, thank you. We're going to do the opportunity zone. All right, I have a resolution here. Be it resolved by the officials in the city of Sunbury, Northumberland County, Pennsylvania, the mayor and council wish to have the city of Sunbury named an opportunity zone, which was enacted as part of the federal 2017 Tax Cut and Job Cut Act, or Job Act. We believe that this designation would bring in much-needed financial investment, which will further augment our ongoing economic development. Do I have a second on this?
Second.
Reese?
Yes.
Eister? Karlovic?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yes.
Reichner?
Yes.
Alright. Now we're going to talk about the City Solicitor Engagement Agreement. Over the course of the last 2 years, the City of Sunbury has incurred a significant increase in legal fees, From an outside view, it would seem as though we have a legal fee issue or that council has been unable to manage city spending. But in fact, the root cause is that the city has been facing an unprecedented amount of legal issues. On the city's behalf, our solicitors and special labor counsel have had to handle a severe increase in legal matters, including multiple lawsuits, claims, and personnel matters stemming from the Sunbury Police Department. The city's recent dramatic spike in legal issues has required an increase in the time our lawyers have spent managing and defending these legal actions, which has in turn raised our costs. We are on pace this year to have high legal fees because we have been inundated with so many legal issues. Our solicitors, the Applebaum Kula Law Firm, have been working hard for the city, and in light of the expected growth in legal fees, they have come to us with a proposal to help keep the city as close as possible to its budget for legal costs. They have volunteered to assist the city by switching from an hourly rate to a monthly capped fee of $8,000, while the city handles the current high multitude of legal actions. They will continue to provide the same level of high-quality work and 24/7 availability that the city has always received in the past. By making this arrangement, the city will save a significant amount of legal expenses, and it is the goal of all, including our legal counsel, to resolve as quickly as possible the ongoing legal matters that the city has been inundated with. Let's not use that word again. This will be a month-to-month agreement, and the Applebaum Kula Law Firm agreed to retroactive this agreement to February 1st of this year. Therefore, I make the motion that we accept the engagement letter offered by the Applebaum Kula Law Firm to keep them as city solicitors, and that the mayor be authorized to sign the engagement letter on behalf of the city of Sunbury.
So let's make sure I get that right. It's month-to-month, $8,000 cap, regardless if you go over the time frame that you would basically agree to. And of course, we can withdraw at any time. You folks can withdraw at any time. And we took off the 1.5%
Yes,
interest.
we never charge interest.
I know you never charged, but clean that matter up. And there's 1 week coming up. You're going on vacation, which we won't bother you for 7 days. That's what we agreed.
I appreciate that.
Does this include litigation too?
Yes.
Everything. At least that way, Kevin, you have some way to base your finances. And she backed it up, which covers February, which is, we know is, I don't know, you probably know, but it's a lot more than $8,000. Okay. Thank you, Brianna, for working with us.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Reese.
Yes. All right, now, Brianna Applebaum for ordinance revisions.
We are doing a little housekeeping here. The city of Sunbury has a city administrator position within its ordinances. In 2016, actually effective January 25th of 2016, new rules went into place regarding some of the powers and duties that a city administrator can do. So we are proposing a ordinance update that incorporates those changes. Before you, council, you'll have the revised ordinance or proposed ordinance for first reading tonight. This will also be available in the city clerk's office in its entirety. In section, this is all within chapter 28, officers and employees, article 8, city administrator. Section 28-22 deals with job reporting and responsibilities. The city administrator would report to city council. And section 28-23 deals with powers and duties. The city administrator shall have the powers and duties relating to the general management of city business and shall have the responsibility for the following non-exclusive list of specific powers and duties. And you'll note that letters A through J are basically significantly close and based off of the third-class city code updates. so that we are in line with the third-class city code. Letter K is that any of the duties listed in this article are not intended to supersede the third-class city code, civil service statute, or any collective bargaining agreement. Because we incorporated it all into section 28-23, section 28-24 is removed at this point. Do you have any questions?
Just approving the first reading, so I make a
Yes.
motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Can I ask a question? Are you proposing to
can you-
appoint somebody?
Can you hold the question to the end, please, since we passed that point?
Karlovic,
Yes?
Kramer, Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
That's
All right. Councilman Ister for the Citacog?
Yes, Cedar Cog has a parcel of land out on Penn Street there by the cheese company. The residents on Miller Street out there in the neighborhood, doing different situations. Given an opportunity, they're gonna give that to us. We've been working back and forth for quite a while. It was undecided at one point who owned it. Bob Zimmerman's name was on the deed, but Bob says he doesn't own it. Cedar Cog says they do. So we're working through those details, but I'd like to take and make a motion. I already talked to Mr. Reese. We're gonna clean this site up and utilize it strictly for parking for the residents. Not gonna be allowed to take and park junk vehicles and so forth, to make sure of that. So I'd like to make a motion, we accept that after we go through the paperwork and get all the documentation straightened out, to accept that free of charge. I think we have to pay $1.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
I just want to make sure, so the city's not going to charge the residents to be able to continue parking there?
No, we want to provide, because parking's tight on Miller Street, and also Lanker Avenue, certain times of the year, it's tight for sweeper evenings. Those folks can move over to this section here and park in this area here. So we're just trying to clean the area up for some parking issues, because it's awful tight down in there.
Jim, I have just one thing, just to, I don't think we clarified, it's just this side of the railroad, it's not both sides of the railroad, right?
No, it's just the
one
sides marked there and then, yes.
The other side of the railroad is owned by Sunbury Cheese.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll second.
Want to second that then?
Yeah.
Kramer, Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic.
Yes. Councilman Chris Reese?
Yes, we have two events coming up that we just want to send approval in for some road closures. So we have the Easter egg hunt in Cameron Park on March 31st. That will be closing from 2nd to 3rd on Market Street. And then the prom walk, which is May 5th, and will be closing from 2nd to 4th Street on Market Street. So I just want to make a motion that we send over to PennDOT to go ahead and close those roads on those days.
Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer.
All right, now we're onto the new agenda item that I was talking about, the appointing alternate open records officer. Reminder that Office of Open Records Officer George Spees recommended that an alternate records request officer be appointed to cover the situation where our records request officer, Terry Speck, is on vacation or absent for any reason. I make a motion that we appoint Cheryl Delsite as the alternate records request officer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichtner.
Yes.
Got Charles on.
Councilwoman Beth Kramer?
We have invoices to pay out of the general fund of $137,024.99, and out of liquid fuel, $5,293.56, I'd like to make this in the form of a motion that we pay the bills that we have.
Second.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
All right, I have an announcement that, I have an announcement that the remainder of the South Fourth Street from Market Street to Walnut Street project will begin March 5th and will include tree removal, ADA curb and sidewalks and miscellaneous items from March 5th through April 30th. Pavement restoration is April 30th through May 30th. Now, is there any audience comment at this time? If there's an audience comment, please stand up when recognized and move to the front of the room and stand at the podium and announce your name before speaking, please.
Okay, my name's Nathan Savage. What was the other thing? I'm sorry.
This your name.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Nathan Savage. I'm a Sunbury resident. One of the things that I know we can't really have an active discussion right now. One of my degrees is in political science, and one of the things that I studied was the balance of power. So this is more of a question that maybe somebody could answer it at some point. It seems as if we have a city administrator position. My first concern is a budgetary issue. I don't know if it's already worked into the budget every year since it's kind of defunct at this point. Back to the balance of power thing, it would seem to me that this would be council taking on an administrator and overstepping into the executive realm. I don't know if that's the intent. I don't know what the position exactly would entail. That's just kind of something that I noticed with the bringing up of the ordinance and the reading of the ordinance. So if anybody would like to comment, I'd be open to it.
I'd like to comment on that. First of all, Terry Speck is the city clerk.
Okay.
She has already notified us she's be retiring. Under the third class city code, we must, 6 months prior, start planning for her retirement. The new position under third class city code is the city clerk or management, and that's where the term's coming. What we're doing, we're looking out for the future of her retirement.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so thanks for the answer.
No problem.
That's. I also had a comment or a question. You said about ripping out the trees and removal. I think we're going to talk to you about that. We just put in trees and new sidewalks and
Not
stuff.
your tree.
Is that going to affect us?
No, there's 4 or 5 stumps in one tree.
Okay, but not ours.
If you want to take it out.
No, we just put it all in.
One other thing, but you want to let that sidewalk open?
No, that's all.
That's all taken care of, okay?
It was done 2 years ago. I think Jimmy Bryan talked to you about that.
That was one of the discussions you
No,
had.
that was 3 years, 4 years ago. Google.
Oh, okay, all right.
Must have been on a Google map and not,
It was.
All right.
okay.
Sure will do that.
But our trees won't need to be removed, sidewalks will be fine.
Has no power over Google, thank you.
Mayor and Council, Dave Lehman. I'm here representing the East Sunbury Hose Company. With me is Rick Shimori, representing the Friendship Hose Company. We're here wondering about the appropriation to the East Sunbury Hose Company from the Friendship Hose Company. We get a check every month from the city for fire protection and to save lives. Friendships have been left homeless due to a fire. And before we go upon our monthly meeting, we were wondering whether the appropriation from the Friendships would transfer to the East Sunbury Hose Company or what the council would recommend us do. And at this time, I'd like to let Rick Shimori explain what this vehicle does. This vehicle is not just an engine. This vehicle that we are taking on to house, which we have housed for the last couple of years in our company, is a special piece of equipment and costs lots of money. So please, council, think about it before you come up with this decision, because I don't think it's something the council or city would like to take on as an expense-wise. Rick?
Mayor, I think I can. I spoke with Rick and John Ferrari earlier today. the stand right now is, we're gonna let the fire department decide. They're gonna vote, the companies are gonna vote whether you will get that extra stipend or not.
So that's the-
That's our stand on it.
That's the council representation, let the fire department decide.
That's right.
That is very fair. We want to
I
come
was
here
going to
first.
bring that up at Monday's fire meeting, but, and I can elaborate more on that at the fire meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'd like to hear what Rick has to say.
Okay,
I have a question for Rick.
yeah, go ahead.
Rick,
Go ahead.
you had mentioned something today, that you get, each department gets so much from the state.
The Pennsylvania State has the Volunteer Firefighters Assistant Grant Program, which theoretically gives everyone a $15,000 grant every year. Actual take-home from that is anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000, depending on how many certified firefighters you have in your roster.
We discussed today, there's sometimes you may not want to merge because of that money every year.
Well, that's why I've been dragging my feet.
And I say merge name-wise, but not company-wise. I hate to see you give that money up.
Well, that's something, that the state of Pennsylvania has a 10-year clause in the plan that if we would merge with East Sunbury Host Company tomorrow, we would get that, they would get that money for another 10 years in addition to their own money. So they kind of give you a phase in. Now, as the Sunbury Fire Department looks at consolidation, we have to consider the legalities of it. And if we can keep all the stations independent, all the stations can keep getting that money, and we can put it towards the central fire department, I think, but that's a lawyer thing, and Auditor General.
I think it'd be.
Yeah, and that's why I've been dragging my feet with consolidation, because we had some other issues to settle, because it's financially not advantageous for us to merge with the East Sunbury Host Company, but unfortunately, we don't really have a revenue base other than the city allotment of around $7,000 a year, and the assistant grant from the state of Pennsylvania of around $12,000 a year. That's our mainstay of our revenue, and right now, we're doing okay with that. Last year alone, we spent over $3,000 insurance on the truck, and we spent over $45,000 on repairs to the truck, which included a $26,000 light tower, which was desperately in need of replacement. And it also included a transmission that needed replaced. So those kind of things caught up to us. But the truck also includes the rescue truck itself. Many people call the rescue truck the toolbox of the fire department. We have the hydraulic rescue tool system on it. We have capability to use 5 different rescue tools at a time. We can take 2 units portable, so if we get somewhere and the car's 200 feet away, we can take everything with us. If we're right there next to it, we can work that way. We have cribbing, stabilization, all those doodads that go with that, saws, air chisels, we have high-pressure airbags. And that equipment alone is worth around $80,000 on the truck. In addition to that, we also carry the Cascade Air System for the fire department, which we use to refill air packs on the scene of a fire. That's about an $8,000 buy-in. We also carry the bulk of the spill materials, the oil dry. We carry about 400 pounds of oil dry. We carry absorbent pads. We carry booms. And that's enough to hold us over till hopefully the county gets there or one of the vendors. We also carry special equipment in the fire department that no one else carries: confined space equipment, rope rescue equipment. We also carry an additional Stokes basket and backboard to help the EMS folks. We have the EMS bag, collars. We have all that stuff. That's about a $12,000 package there. We also have the standard firefighting equipment. Our truck itself seats 9 people, and it has 8 air packs in it. We have all the firefighting doodads in it, thermal imaging camera and whatnot. We have a high-rise pack. We have 3 sets of ventilation fans that we often use. Assortment of ladders, small, large. So altogether, the hydraulics, the air, the light tower, especially the thermal imaging camera, we have about $134,000 worth of equipment just on that one truck. And a lot of that equipment is only carried by that truck. And that's why when fire departments traditionally get in trouble, the truck they look for is the rescue truck, because that's where all that specialty stuff is that you're all going to use every so often, but my God, when you need it, you need it. So, and bottom line is, who do we call when we don't know who to call? We call the county, and then we call the police, and when the police get there and go, not a police thing, we call the fire department. You know, whether you go back to the old, the cat stuck in a tree, which I don't do cats in trees, or you're stuck. I got to call one time somebody stuck in a recliner, honest to God. You know, who do you call? You call the fire department. So we have to be prepared to do all of that. So hopefully when we work this out, we can keep that allotment so that we can continue providing this service for the fire department.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Has it been calculated anywhere in there what the monthly extra expense the East Ends will be taking on, even if all of the money went to the East Ends? Like, is there a set, we're gonna take on at least this much, even if all the money came to us?
Well, they're gonna take on at least a $3,000 some dollars to our friendly insurance man. They're gonna take on our $500 a year fuel bill, so there's $4,000. Tires, maintenance, this truck probably costs more than $600-700 a month to run. I know it does. I mean, we spent $45,000 last year. And those are costs that whoever has this truck are gonna have to absorb. That's why the allotment is so important.
If by some chance, and I don't know if it was already, if they can't come to an agreement on the money, if it's split or whatever, it comes back to us, I would at least like to see more, like a breakdown of that, just so, if it comes back to us.
Yeah, and this is all kind of tentative because we're starting to take the steps towards a merger. And until we do that, now the fire department's starting to talk consolidation, so it's all getting kind of weird because everybody's got the ball rolling at the same time, so we kind of have two balls in play here. But yeah, we can certainly do that, break that down. Because I'm certain it'll be more than $7,000 a year. I know that because my treasurer doesn't like me when I call her. He's their treasurer, so he knows.
Thank you.
May I make a comment real quick on Mr. Samori and Mr. Bateman's comments? A lot of the equipment that Mr. Samori had mentioned, the rescue tools, cascades and all, is all under control and maintenance by the Sunbury Relief Association. So it's no cost to them to run this equipment. It's the cost of the Relief Association. I just want to mention that so there's no misunderstanding or misleading.
Well, I also think that truck is a specialty item, just like the American's ladder truck.
Sure.
And
Oh,
also-
yeah, I'm not taking away from the truck. I just didn't want to be the misunderstandings or misleading on who maintenance the equipment.
Well, but as long as you're expensive, that truck's expensive too, to replace.
Yeah, a new ladder truck's $1.2 million, a new rescue truck, you're looking at $700,000. A new engine, $500,000 to $600,000, is ballpark.
And
That's
the
how much
city-
the stuff costs.
The city's not gonna withhold that money. It's just whether, it's up to the fire department whether it gets put flyways or something.
Yeah, so we appreciate that consideration.
Any other questions? Is that money already going to them?
Yes.
They get the monthly stipend now?
This is where we're trying to get a question answered for if we do move ahead with the merger with East Sunbury.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, when the hookers went out, it was divided among everybody.
Well, that's a discussion for the fire department.
But that wasn't a discussion in the fire department at that time.
You remember when they went out there, they didn't merge, am I right?
No, they didn't.
They dissolve.
They
However,
dissolved.
you still went down to another company, you went down to a company.
That's true, but they're passing on another piece of equipment. There's a factor there too, the East Ends to pick up that load of expenditures. That's what I think that what you're trying to make.
And it's not, if we hand $600 to 5 companies, you get $100. It doesn't help the East End any if they take on that truck, any more than it would help the Americas if you had it. So it's only fair to the company that takes on the responsibility and the cost to get that stipend.
See you Monday night.
you.